Can you introduce?
Good afternoon from St. Croix Virgin Islands, and I am so grateful to be here and to see all of these wonderful, beautiful human beings in this circle and this opportunity for us to realign ourselves and become the human family that we were meant to be. So in gratitude and Thanksgiving for all of us. Thank you so much. Blessings.
Thank you, Sister Eva. Yeah. So what Mohanji has introduced is the topic of our discussion today, that there are many things happening, and what Mother Earth is saying to us now is that she is in a time of purification. And in this time of purification, she's going to exercise her power. So we are going to see more earthquakes, fires, floods, droughts, and all these kinds of things that Mother Earth can use to purify herself. And she's telling us that she is going to come more and more to human habitations, so that and then she's going to intensify her efforts to purify herself. And this is going to happen now, is continuing now, and it's going to intensify over the next few years. Then, of course, we have the social and political chaoses that Mohanji talked about that are there. And it is a time that the people of the world are looking towards spiritual elders for guidance as to what to do. And so this is the topic of our discussion. And maybe, Basil, if you can start this off and then choose the next elder to say their piece, we would appreciate it.
Thank you. Ajattokäksi mitä kiepi. Leon petuan takuun iwoklakaktehe na ta na chante na zi takukyo hel ptaya iwoklakaktehe wa kantranka ogna na uyan kapo mitä kiepi. Takuun lila wa kansalil hiutakapelo. I extend a warm handshake from both of my hands to all of you, and we thank the Great Spirit who has given us another sacred day. And we all are related and connected to the universe. And we come here to talk about ways to understand the divine's message through different ceremonies, dreams that are, to me, my grandma told me, she said, all these messages that can come to you are divine wisdom. It's not in a book, it's not on TV, it's not in a workshop. It's coming directly from Tunkashila Ina, both grandmother and grandfather, because she said, our human brain is connected to the divine brain. Now, when I said that, when she told me in 1933, and I wrote that first book, The Journey of a Braveheart, I had a lot of calls saying, did your grandma go to school? Where'd she go to school? So she's talking about all these things that you mentioned in your book, that everything is an instrument and everything sings. And you're saying that the divine brain is connected to the human brain. And so I said, no, she didn't go to school. I said, our 89 billion neurons in our both left and right hemisphere mitigate all this divine wisdom. So that's where our ancestors got all of this spiritual knowledge. And I want to say this at this time. I've been teaching this for about 40 years. And I tell people what I'm sharing today, all of you know that you don't know that you know. It's there. It's nothing new. You already know it. But unfortunately, in my research in the linguistic languages across the world, a lot of us are not speaking our original language. The English language interfered with all of this I'm talking about, because I worked with some linguistic scholars, and we found that the Mayan, the Celtic, the Hawaiian, and the Lakota language, I know there's much more, use 140 sounds. And our language is not a written language, it's a vibrational language. The whole universe is an electromagnetic field that connects. And so everything that our songs are about, our ceremonies, our deep divine urge in our soul to want to see the seeing with the unseen part of who we are. So we are made in the most complex, undefinable. We don't try to define the divine. So our reference to the divine is we use the word daku wa kan shkan, something in sacred motion.
Okay, Basil, given some time here for the interpretation, please.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for reminding Ilarion. ¿Me escuchas, Arregoces?
So who's going to interpret? Was it me or are they going to interpret?
Arregoces, ¿me escuchas? ¿Me escuchan?
So you want me to interpret what I said?
No, Lucas here.
I will translate to Spanish for the people who do not speak English on this call, mostly for the Kogi people. So just give me a little break. I'm just making sure Arregoces is there and is listening to me, because yeah, I can't see him because the screen is changed now. Arregoces, ¿me escuchas?
Claro, te escucho.
Ah, bueno. El señor del pueblo Lakota estaba diciendo que, bueno, estaba hablando del tema del conocimiento ancestral. Él estaba diciendo de dónde viene eso. Viene porque nuestro cerebro como humano, a través de las idiomas indígenas, que son mucho más preciso y también complejo que, por ejemplo, inglés o español o otros idiomas, es como un espejo, está como una reflexión de la conciencia, digamos, de los padres espirituales, del divino, y de eso viene el conocimiento ancestral. Así le enseñó su abuela, estaba diciendo.
Okay, I apologize, Basil, for the interruption. We were trying to get simultaneous translation, but we didn't have it in time. So please continue.
Okay. I'm allowed to continue now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, I'm going to really move to another teaching that my grandma told me. But before I do that, I want you to know that I said I've been researching our Lakota tradition for 40 years. I grew up in a totally Lakota speaking environment with my people. And it was matriarchal. It was the grandmas that were put in the center of the teepee. And the function of the divine wisdom comes from the feminine. She's in charge of the food, the clothing, the nurturing, and the spiritual teaching. But also she's given the function to teach unconditional love. Wo te hila ogana umpo mitakuepi. Live in an unconditional love. How can you love someone if you don't love yourself? But also in our tradition, not only is she asking us to love the two-legged, the flowers, the trees, the horses, the buffalo, the birds, the fish, all of them are our relatives. So we also embrace them as our relatives. And if we did some harm to a two-legged or hurt the water some way or the air or the ground, then we are also to continue our unconditional love for all creation. And the second part, she said, we need to live in a walking stunza way. Walking stunza in Lakota means forgiveness. How can you forgive someone if you don't forgive yourself? Now, she said, I'm taking you to a place in Lakota tradition called the hollow bone. Hollow bone means to clear yourself. So when you are in a healing place, or when you work with people or with animals, you are vibrating at the optimal level that the divine skun is asking you to do. That's the blueprint that divine has given us. And so the third one, she said, you need to know, not to believe or to think. You need to have the deep knowing. You need to awaken your deep consciousness from the divine to your heart, because the heart is has a divine urge, and in the soul to see the unseen in the seen. Just like when she told me, she said, grandson, one of the first prayers I'm going to tell you is this: when you see a tree, what you don't see, that's the unseen, supports what you do see. Amazing quantum principle, because when I researched our language, quantum simply means, in the basic meaning, a starburst or a spark of light. So therefore, the Lakotas named each other Wichasha, the man connected to the light, and the woman is Wia, woman in divine light, in the divine vibration. So that's our original meaning of who we are as human beings. Okay, and also talk about Kanshkanshkan means that everything in the universe is connected. So I didn't have a deep understanding. That's why I worked with some neurologists and found that the brain is a miniature universe. So that's why my grandma understood this wisdom that was coming from the divine. Again, no books, didn't speak English, everything came from the divine. And so the last one was, she said, we need to have a deep mind, heart, soul, and our body to give thanks for this undefinable human being that we are, that are capable of being in alignment with the divine. The original word for religion, and this is basically in many of the cultures, the original meaning for religion means to be aligned, means to be in connection with the whole universe, because that's who we are.
Okay. can we allow time then for the translation, please?
Yeah, thank you. I'll just do a quick summary. El señor estaba diciendo que él creció en su pueblo, que también es pueblo indígena y que es muy concentrado por el rol de la mujer. O sea, dice que la mujer es como lo más importante, como lo más central. Lo ha dicho así, y que él ha dicho que lo más importante es el amor, es sincronizarse a través del amor con uno mismo para poder estar también conectado con el mundo, con todos los seres que no son humanos, los animales, plantas, todo eso, y para poder sincronizarse a través, y él entendió eso aprendiendo del cerebro después más tarde, que todo lo que siempre que los mayores le han dicho, que sí está conectado con, que todo está conectado en el mundo, y eso él estaba aprendiendo que es a través del cerebro también humano, que todo el mundo está conectado, y también todo lo que no son los humanos, todo el mundo de las plantas, animales y todo eso.
Thank you, Lucas. Please continue, Basil.
Okay, the first example she gave me, what she was talking about, how we can be when we're participating in the divine vibration of the sacred, not as observers. When I went to boarding school, the metaphor of the St. James version, and I'm not criticizing that, looks like we were participating, not participating, but observing. The divine was somewhere else, was put in the tabernacle and locked it up. And I told my grandma about that. She said, whenever her grandma when she says this, who he, it means listen to what I gotta tell you. I'm not criticizing them or critical of them, because that's going to violate my forgiveness, and it's going to violate my unconditional love. She said, honor what they teach you and expect them to honor your truth. That is one of the big problems we're going to face. People don't want to understand the indigenous mind, the quantum mind, because they have a language that, again, is very dangerous. They have words like inferior and superior, because they speak a language which is called duality. Our language is non-duality. We can bring inferior and superior together and be one. And it nullifies that what they're telling us. But she said also, I want you to know, in our language, the reason why it's very hard to understand and very hard to write is that our language is, we got words that can have 5 meanings, even 7 meanings, and also a lot of the language is implied. You don't hear it, you don't hear the matrix of it, but you do hear a sound that is basically imposed into our language. And remember, when we say we use 140 sounds, that completes the total by the frequency, the amplitude in which we are living in vibrationally in the whole universe. And so she said, when you take sage, cedar, bare root, or other herbs that you pray with, and she said, you auxilia this. You take the sacred fire and put it to the herb. And when it, most everybody optically sees smoke. She said, beyond that is the spirit or the soul that was in the herb. So we are participating in the divine smoke and the smell, optically, audioly, and our smell senses are participating in the divine. And she said, another one I'm going to show you is when we go out to pick cherries, we're going to take cherries from our brother or our sister, which is a cherry tree. Do not hurt the tree. We're picking these cherries to make sacred food for ceremonies, but also to keep winter food for us. But here's where she was going. She said, on the way back, I want you to follow your footsteps on the way back. And if you see a wildflower that you stepped on, stop and say a prayer and kneel down and see if that flower is still sharing its divine fragrance. And I said, Grandma, it still is. You see, we get all of our divine information. Our scripture is in nature, not in books. It's in nature. So when that divine flower is still sharing its fragrance, it, even though you heard it, it's still sharing part of its divinity. And she at that time said, the women, especially the women, have the deep knowing, the deep knowledge, the deep propensity to mitigate the flower essence. They can intuit, and they can intuit the vibration of that flower. They can intuit the color of that flower. So they have the gift to embrace the whole flower because that is healing. I was taking this bouquet of flowers to my wife in the hospital, and I left them there because she was sleeping. And these women that stopped me to say, what a beautiful arrangement. But they didn't say what all they knew. I knew that they knew. Part of that flower, we can't understand how much that flower helped my wife to return to her alignment with the divine. Now, I'm going to get to what these things she taught me: unconditional love, forgiveness, everything is vibration, and everything is connected and related, and an act of thanksgiving. So she said, all of those things I just taught you are the Wakantanka, the Great Spirit, put all of that into creation, into water, into the earth, into all the flowers and trees and the plants and the water and everything in the water, in the sky, and the human beings. So she said, you are living in the divine essence. When you get up in the morning, say 5 prayers when you take those 5 breaths, sacramental those 5 breaths, and then take your hand and hold and touch your heart and feel the vibration of the universe, and go take some water and pray with it and ask that water to become a medicine. So what that prayer does, it changed the water crystals from imperfect symmetry to perfect symmetry, and then it becomes aligned with the holography of the universe. In that first book, I used the spider web to explain and to show people that's kind of how it looks like, the spider web. When we touch the web, it connects and we're in alignment with the divine immediately through unconditional love, forgiveness, have the knowing that everything is divinely created. And so when you do that, you become a hollow bone. And so you become healers. You can heal. Now, I'm going to say this at this point. I went to a boarding school for 11 years, cut my hair, took my language away, condemned all of my rituals, anything that resembled my native tradition, they took away. They were interfering with my innocence. They were interfering with who I was, my identity. They were trying to make me out from an indigenous person to a non-indigenous person. It didn't happen. They tried that. I grew up in a time we were living in a very difficult time. We're going through that right now. Massacres, putting smallpox in blankets and issuing them to us, taking our horses, destroying the horses, putting women in a place where they can be abused, stole the land. And there's more to that, what they did to us. But because of we have this hollow bone principle to be aligned with the divine, we're still here. Now they're going to ask us to be part of an educational system, a curriculum that's called patriarchy, what was it? A political patriarchy. They're going to indoctrinate us so we can be more patriotic. I'm going to be giving a talk in Rapid City in about 3 weeks to a lot of veterans, and I'm going to tell them the indigenous people have more people who served in all the wars than any other groups. And all the guys that I went with went into combat operational service, Marine Corps, SEAL, paratroopers, Rangers, and most of them went into infantry, front line. And I hope we don't what we call that. And I'm not being disrespectful to refer that to our veterans, but they said, when you have your ass in the grass, you are there defending this country right on the front line.
Basil, we need
Yes.
to interpret, and then we have other elders that need to speak also. So if you could try to, we're very appreciative of the wisdom that you share, and hopefully people take it to heart. But in the meantime, the interpreter, can you interpret, please?
Yes, I will just do a quick summary. Bueno, él estaba hablando del tema de la idioma, que las idiomas, por ejemplo, en inglés o español, tienen como muchas palabras como mejor o peor, todo eso, que hacen una separación, que nos hacen separar de uno al otro, y que eso es algo que muchos idiomas indígenas no lo hacen así, de esta misma manera. Y después él estaba contando también la historia de la colonización de los colonos, cómo fue con ellos allá, cómo querían quitarse idiomas, sus costumbres, sus tradiciones, todo eso.
Okay, thank you.
I'll close this and give me about 2 minutes.
Okay,
Okay, what I've been sharing with you, I really went through it fast. It takes 3 days what I'm sharing with you, but I'm just going very fast on this. I got PTSD when I was in boarding school. I got PTSD as a combat veteran. When I came back, I was out of alignment. I couldn't even pray. So I couldn't sleep. I was the verge on being angry all the time. I was very close to rage. I was not a good husband, not a good father, not a good grandfather. So my grandma said, take a sacred pipe and go to the medicine man, give it to him, he'll tell you what to do. So I did that, and we had a ceremony, and he said, you need to awaken all that your grandma taught you. So I did. So my drinking was causing me jail time, losing jobs, bankrupt mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So when I did this thing, what my grandma told me, one of the fruits of what she told me to do, tomorrow I'm going to be celebrating 52 days of complete sobriety. That is part of this miracle. Oh, mitakoyase. Thank you.
Thank you. There are some other elders that have just joined us. Kelsey is the co-founder of the Wisdom Weavers of the World, and I worked with her for many years. She now lives in Hawaii. Kelly, can you introduce yourself and the Fijian elders?
Hello, everybody. It's such an honor and delight to be together again. I greet you from the island of Kauai, and with the energy of a fresh rainbow at the sunrise today, just honoring this beautiful gift of weaving so many cultures and language hearts together from around the world. So thank you for joining us today. And I want to introduce I have beautiful friends that I've met recently in Fiji, and I want to introduce Tanyela and his partner Vani, who are reaching us from the island of Viti Levu in Fiji. Bula Tanyela. Do you want to speak or just listen today? Do you have anything you want to share?
I just want to say bula to everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Naka.
Yeah, thank you and welcome.
Naka.
George, can you introduce yourself, please? You're muted. We can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. My name is George Plentikoff. I am born and raised in Alaska and lived in Alaska all of my life. First, I want to thank Basil for his wonderful words of wisdom and understanding, and his discussion about alignment with the divine. So much of our time we spend dividing ourselves because we have been indoctrinated into believing that we are sinful, that we have no strength, and that strength that we must get has to come from God. I don't think there's anywhere in the Bible that God said, "Oh yeah, you guys need strength." He said, "You have it." And sometimes we ignore it or deny it, and then we want more from him. But we have that, and that's what Basil spoke about. And that's what we spoke about earlier when we began this session, how Mother Earth is in a cleansing process. And that cleansing process is not a punishment to humanity. Mother Earth is not in the business of punishing us. She's in the business of caring, of nurturing, of providing, much exactly the same way as we said with strength and power, that Mother Earth shares that with us. But then you know how easy it is for us, right? We walk outside and we throw our garbage. Somebody will pick it up. But there are 7.5 billion people, 7.5 billion people on this planet. Imagine if we all bought into that practice and hurt and scar. Ignore, what did Basil say? Honor what they teach you. Honor what our parents, our grandparents, our nation, like our nation is like God's built cathedral, God's built holiness for each of us to receive what we need to know and learn, what they are teaching us. And we honor that. So for me, today was really, I'm really very, very grateful. I'm grateful that somebody is teaching me. And I think that somebody who's teaching me is all of you and your nation and your cathedral and that power that Creator gives to us, that strength. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Mohanji, can you please address us now? Are you there?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Shall we do a translation?
Thank you so much, Ilarion. What Basil was telling us, has been really, really resonating. One is the connection between us and the entire universe. Nobody can take it away. Second is the divide, the feeling of division, which is borrowed, which is not ours. We never felt divided. We never felt alienated. But the conditioning and the teaching, which we took from outside, not from our elders, not from the people who knew, it's from the very basic world, what we have acquired, kept us divided. But we have never, ever been divided. We are together. And there is a very beautiful prayer in the Sanskrit system structure, which is something like this. Om. Om is the basic vibration of the creation. Om. Sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunattu. Sahaviryam karavavahai. तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. What it simply means is, let us be together. We are together. Let us be together. Let us rise together. Let us help each other to rise together, and let us always remain harmonious. And the three Shanti, one is to the entire universe, saying, let you be peaceful. Then to the world around us, be peaceful. Then to the world inside us, be peaceful. So we are born for maintaining peace. So many things which Basil said just now resonated very deeply in me. And this is the whole idea now. All that's fragmented, visibly or seemingly fragmented, has never been fragmented and will never be fragmented. We are all united. We are all united as one body. And for a clear purpose of staying strong in the ether level, in the energetic level. The chaos outside, sometimes there are calamities, there are differences, divisions, distractions, but in the substratum, in the base, it's unity, it's oneness, and we are all brothers and sisters of the same family. So we will stay like that. I think that's about it. It's pretty past midnight here, so I will not talk further. Thank you for having me here, and I really appreciate the time, and I really feel each one of you. What George said also, I felt it more than I heard it. So thank you for having me, and we'll stay connected. We are always connected. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Guru Mohanji. So I hope that and pray that you feel better.
Thank you.
Lucas, can you have the Kogi people talk?
Yes, I will give them a short summary and then ask them the question. Bueno, Arregoces, los señores estaba diciendo que lo más importante es que no nos sentimos separados del universo, de todo, de la naturaleza, y que nunca nos hemos separado, a pesar que en muchas, sí, digamos, pensamientos sí se ha sugerido que sí no tenemos ninguna conexión con el mundo, con la naturaleza, pero nunca fue la verdad, siempre estábamos conectados y eso es muy, muy, muy importante. Entonces la pregunta, y ahora ustedes van a hablar, el Mamo va a hablar ahora, es ¿cómo está el mundo ahora? ¿Y qué es lo que tenemos que hacer como humanidad para apoyar, para resolver este problema?
Nga ay hadi jaje hangu toqeki hay kagri chekh duqa hay habri chekh duqam habana sansan kodazing tsadaki kage hayaqpan qana san kodazing tsadaki sino ke habanangana ije habanangana shqizbah noqod zuqa ikinana shqa qazi wiji meli wiji nuqa gune naqiye ki mama qwarza hay ma hay ztum maquchiga qiga ztum maquchiga toqojin ya saqiga hinoham yazigten ogan sai shqachekwan hay qaj shvenga je sai shqachekwan hingudena mede gor gumila qahetia han ig maquzinin ki sai de taz ay haba hingi shangwa kinada kula kushina da qana higi de taz geshishat yes مش قاعد بقى سامحني بقى
¿Va a hablar el Mamo?
sí bueno no sangwa atoy haba hen vision que mudito bien antibe jeito de pana sai jeito da kunani Rajini hatir ko mayo ko hi ko je ko gon kajini mingaki enina arde numa kwane kuma ena munji hana numa kakwe nan ni shangwa sonze ni heni hikamidi kahaba nuka hi nuka shangwa wasonze saupa midi haba nuka shangwa wasonze wuka inki arde numa shkatunka arde gweba shkakuka nani arde gweba shkakuka uche hina eyeki arde numa kakwe hikakaji mi kasogi nuka mangu wasonze Eka harbo da hanchi getse nuka shango wasonze. Heni nukne chi hawa eka kaji chi midi chi nubachi hichi nichi nukne hawa. Nadichi yang moku hi nakjini toy iki. Nagatamka le shang Jina muka haba ya iki mashan. Jina toy sigina muliko atko kasaigo yate. Buchana haba hayak pang ka alenga saigo arleg yeleg toka. Buchana ge haiteno ka alenga saigo yate arleg toka. Ay kagbaga iki saigo yeleg chi. Akang nadaki ay kula. Akene hey ikina de tong kana hey gaki. Hengi kana mashaki gubang gamu kana wane. Chiniji. Chiniji. Akira kana hin bang me bangu kisa me bangu ki shangwa sunze me bangu ki me bangu ki mi geki ni ka huda agdu me de agdu wasunze. Me bangu ki ni kame de shangwa wasunze tanune haba yuka. Yuka ga atahini ching. Tani zawotu ka ena na mi haba ena na mi hate. Bunituin no kana gujas laka. Hati zin suja haba zin suja. Hi no maznato. No maznato zika na daki. Mudajik na dan ay haba ki amazon kabashan. Judo ka biyani ana judo ka san kabashan. Judo Aling ni ay gikwama higikwama may pang kinogam akabashan.
You got cut off there.
Yeah, Arregoces, no le escuchamos. Se cortó. No sé por qué.
Ay sais na dakma na daki at enke ki gigit no mo jigatonan. No kan ki gigit yigat de no mo jigat ki jehin na zaksan gijan. Akay kinok neki nas ki ha.
¿Me escuchan?
Sí,
¿Me escuchan?
sí.
Hola.
Hola, hola. Sí, sí. Te escuchamos.
Bueno, lo que está diciendo el Mamo
What the Mamo is
es
saying,
todo lo que hemos hablado, todo lo que él ha escuchado es perfectamente verdad.
everything
Lo que
we've
está
heard is absolutely truth.
Lo que está pasando en el mundo.
That is what's happening in the world.
Ahora, lo que él está diciendo, ¿cómo vemos el mundo?
So the question is, how do we see the world right now?
Y podemos preguntar, ¿cómo vamos a vivir nosotros?
And the other question is, how are we going to live as humanity?
Esa es la pregunta que toca preguntar. ¿Cómo está el mundo y cómo vamos a vivir nosotros? Esa es la pregunta que vamos a entender, resolver.
So these are two very important questions that are important to answer.
Entonces, él dice que la tierra para nosotros es la madre.
For us, the earth is the mother.
La tierra es una mujer.
It's a woman.
Nuestro Padre que está en el cielo, nuestro Padre Sol, es nuestro Padre que fue puesto desde un principio.
Our Father in the sky is the Son who was put there in the beginning of time.
Por eso mismo nosotros no podemos maltratar la madre tierra.
That's why we can never mistreat the earth.
Nos toca educar a los niños, enseñar sobre Kasaugi, que son los árboles que fue sembrado desde un principio por nuestros padres espirituales.
So what we need to do is educate our children about the kasaugi, the let's say grandfather and grandmother trees that were put in the beginning by our spiritual fathers.
Tenemos que cuidar los hagbalda. Hagbalda son las piedras que fue puesto desde un principio, que son los guardianes donde está la esencia de nuestros padres espirituales.
We need to take care of the sacred rocks that were placed in the beginning of time that are the guardians of our spiritual mothers and fathers.
Cada cosa tiene las parejas, hombre y mujer,
Everything has a
que son
partner, a
que va
polarity.
relacionado-
¿Otra vez?
que cada cosa tiene parejas,
Mhm.
hombre y mujer.
So everything is in a polarity, male and female, man and woman.
Existe la laguna y existe los cerros, que son los parejas.
So in nature, we can find the the partnership, for example, of the lakes and the mountains being male and the lakes being female.
También existe, nosotros como humanos vivimos unas parejas, que es el hombre y la mujer. Somos los que cuidamos a todas esas que están las parejas en el mundo.
So also we humans, we live as a couple. We live with our partner, man and woman, and together we should take care of the earth.
Cada vez que nosotros nos separamos de unos matrimonios, es debilitar a la madre tierra que está casado.
So whenever we separate our relationship as humans between man and woman, if we break up, at that moment we are weakening the earth and the male and female aspects in the earth and in nature that are also married.
Cuando nosotros nos casamos, pactamos un acuerdo con la madre tierra para poder cuidar los ríos, los árboles, los humedales, los árboles Hasaugi que son sembrados por nuestros padres espirituales.
So when we marry between man and woman, we marry as an obligation to the earth to take care of the wetlands, of the grandfather and grandmother trees, because that is our role, to be guardians for them.
Asimismo, hay parejas de los cerros, las lagunas, y nosotros estamos parejas también. Esas son las cosas que hay que tener en cuenta, que son dos, tiene que haber un par, tiene que haber un cuatro.
So we always need to remember that everything consists of male and female. In nature, we can see it in the mountains and the lakes, and in humans, in man and woman.
Nosotros encontramos los cerros. Los cerros es una madre. Está organizados. Por dentro tiene objetos sagrados. Tiene tumbas. Tiene ñuba, oro, que no se puede sacar desde lagunas. Y hay mucha gente que lo hacen, que lo sacan las tumbas, las piedras, el corazón de la madre tierra lo sacan, y esos está conectado la laguna con el resto del mundo. La laguna es una conexión de toda laguna que existe en el mundo, está conectado energéticamente, espiritualmente y forma físicamente.
So when we look in nature and we stick to the example of the lakes and the mountains, we will find sacred objects in these sacred sites, and they're underground. So he names the crystals, for example, the tumas. He names the gold, or also other materials that we might call natural resources. And they give the strength to the sacred sites. They give the strength to these special places. And these specific sacred sites, for example, the lakes or the mountains, are connected. So all the lakes in the world are connected. All the mountains in the world are connected.
Si si nosotros decimos, si nosotros seguimos acabando con el mar, con la laguna que está en la parte bajas, que está cerca a la laguna, cerca al mar, tiene una conexión y si se seca una, puede empezar a afectar a todos.
So whenever a sacred site is destroyed, and he puts the example of the territory where they live, that there are in the lower ranges of the mountains, there are specific lakes quite close to the sea, like a lagoon. And if they are drained, for example, or if they are dried up, this will have an effect on all the lakes and all the lagoons in the world.
Por eso mismo, cada etnia, cada indígenas, cada población de cada país, estamos obligados a cuidar, porque así nuestro Padre Espiritual nos dejó, porque nos tocó cada parte iguales también. Nosotros tenemos laguna, usted tiene laguna, usted tiene árboles, nosotros tenemos árboles, nosotros tenemos animales, usted tiene animales.
So within
Nuestro
all
Padre
indigenous people,
Espiritual nos dejó.
so with all indigenous people all over the world, we've all been given a territory. We all have some sort of vegetation, trees. We all have some sort of animals. We all have some sort of water, like lakes. And we have the responsibility of taking care of the territory that was left to us. And because if damage occurs in one territory, it will affect all the territories in the world.
Nuestro Padre Espiritual nos dejó cada cosa en su lugar, donde solamente tenemos que apoyar a unos al otro. Cuando el otro lo está haciendo daño, hay que enseñarlos.
We've all been placed in the specific places where we should be as indigenous people. This is not random. This has been done on purpose by the Creator. And if we see that damage happens somewhere in the world, we should support each other, for example, through educating and through raising awareness about these issues.
Entonces, eso es lo que está diciendo el Mamo en el momento.
So this is what the Mamo has to contribute to this meeting today.
Thank you very much.
Then
El
Jarlenegua,
Mamo va a hablar.
he's asking if there's time for the Mamo to speak again,
Yes, go
or
ahead.
are we continuing with a different elder?
No, this is important to hear everybody as much as we can, especially today in this condition of what is happening on Mother Earth. So please continue.
Sí, sigue.
Moco. Aí abri bungo. Sai chapalo kashi kize, mahangoka. Gune ne sangwa mokwa hai. Eki ne gitawanga janchiwe, akagune ne hai nasunda. Eki kaigaminga kinu migisadaku muleto zegapan. Eni kanu migisadaku gebo zegapan guchiga enki hinakjini koi eki zegaki aga gucha hai haba hai akpanu kaga koi eshanzana hangi waki. Hata hai ngayit nukaga shazana hangi waki ki wakina de cha hinakjini shi koi agne eki sha atpapadi khana agne ke hai agne jeni. Heni karusani agne kuki machu jeni gucheke haba na ukadzika. Eka nyuba mashe gune haba na ukadzika eka udu agayuku hi agayuku nita agayuku haba na ukadzika iki mashe
Heni numa zitozik. Shane mulvatanashi wako numa zitozik. Eki mashi gune nukana. Eki getse wishi moko agdum. Achi jena. Aki gwankaden jenina. Toji gisachangwa kozik. Achen kanu kajenki. Haba haye akadzikwen. Hatish kwa khada akadzikwen. Hatish jangwa akadzikwen tuye. Gwakozer zina kita nukji gisachane kadzik. Nukji gisacha. Algo chahini. Nasu kaguba ay hangdeha ay swama jekwe hanga tunye change ga kozi haki na deje adenki numa jiga hangu togucha heni nani kwa znakhe toy shane nu toy hangu pa shane hangu pa ni yegmya azbon wahdiya achapan ni bunka jaga Mia haba ekinuka ko ay wish no jigiwiti mo ko ki no ka ko ay gun agado hay achi pana go da jejina hatish ko khada zutanane akhichi go ko jazuma ta jigi sa chen go ko eki hati ko kata abashane pako nuna eki ubisha go sa eu bicho chango gostando. A uma conclusão no canal. Quem foi de curso de acordo? Se isso de acordo, não é de jeito. Então, não é por isso de acordo. A conclusão no canal é que eu, mano, jeito do carro. Nazaznake Johanna ki Johanna abizmu kagba Johanna ki Johanna zungetigba Muka habana de jikha akorde ki eni nani kwa kamijena muku munji haba akorde ki amma Johanna gite kagba eni kagba na Johanna gba gite enga nusish gwana singi nusish gwana sun eni qawshik shasun nadakhana Kisha toy anetu kishi heni kaguba jenu ka akde kawgakshina na shatunki ay ekanyuba shede mede shede akde toy ekizna hanguda unana nadaki kinadaki ekingwa kwazika haba hamasha jangwana ekingwa kwazika hate hamasha jangwana hate habazna na kwazika numa zitozika mashinki mashin Mas, no cane, a carrancana, coina de guilde, aqui que te charge que com cada rodinho no cana. Hata esquarra da gigitinga, a rigua quase a zurca. Aí, amma de guitarra, nasce, caguaza, a guisa da jazir, do nunca assiste chacoadir. A gugucha é rei, mas de cana foi aqui guajadir. Ainda, aqui esgavan para a vida. Akhino kazego de mukane aga hati mukakho jahane yatay mukanga kagabo nuksingwa gwakwe ate eni jenu khay nuksingwa gwakwe hangwaki ne de cha haizahin bukhanga kay ikinu khay gitse shangwe jigakwe pana koda jenna ni bunu khay ke javit stogaje ki shwana eni geleni masna khajazna khay nama zaman kalazi Haba kata ekibe siega upa mashanguna. Panuka ina mama sisi pankata ekibe siega hone pakwe. Akanukane nasu hadeka esoma kadukaki henkanu hatunda ekigete shangwa sunze abde hangwije. Akakadukanu kane heni ekijga panakodaje. Hinakshinish mulbatek kauzungshin. Hinakshinish abdenge toy kakan kishkazgo hinak nadakita. Haizahin kokanga tukimenu kaygiti gwi panakadengna. Haba hengana tugisaje ishkakan hinas nakopana. Akengutu kanukane naz hangleha hangulacharnake hikimena madenga hangwa. Henimwe wow hinak najizaka hinak zegakita ekigiti shangwi panakadeng. Mie ni ge ke pana ni he ka ofra ga yu pi ni ke me da ga yu ko ga dun na dun ma ki ni ta dun na dun ke ni e ki dun pan ka den no khana pa mo ba kan a den ga no ba ka ga pan e ki ke ma tu je na ka ko ni je a ke no ka che ka no khane he ni e swa ma ki so ko no mas ga tol ke ni de no mas ga tol he ni ka do sa ni e ki je a ke no ka wan ka no khana nas ke ki na ma de to وتخوغ نقانا الناس كهيين نقانا أسقاك كي قربين كي يقول نقانا تو
Bueno, lo que está diciendo el Mamo, lo que está diciendo el Mamo es que
So what the Mamo is saying is,
sí. ¿Me escuchan bien?
sí,
Aló.
sí, te escuchamos.
Aló, ¿me escuchan?
Sí, 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 te escuchamos. Vamos, puedes traducir.
Ok. Bueno, lo que estaba diciendo el Mamo era que en un principio nosotros venimos muy organizados.
In the beginning
Venimos
of
muy
time,
organizados.
we were really organized.
Cada cosa en su lugar.
Everything
El
was placed in
río,
its rightful place.
la laguna en su lugar.
The river in its place, the
Las
lakes in their place.
Así como nosotros, el cuerpo humano, está todo en su lugar.
Exactly
Tenemos nuestras vistas.
as our human body, it was everything is in its place. The same was in the territory.
La vista, por ejemplo, la nariz tenemos ahí donde nuestro padre espirituales nos dejó. Las bocas, los brazos, todo está en su lugar. Asimismo, la madre tierra también está, todas las cosas en su lugar.
Exactly as the nose is put in its exact place in our face where it should be, our eyes, our arms. The same is the case for the earth. So everything, every river, every mountain, every tree, every rock was placed in the exact place where it's supposed to be.
La madre tierra nos quiere, pero nosotros no lo queremos. El
Mother
ser
Earth
humano
loves us, but
quiere,
it seems we don't love her.
el ser humano quiere acabar. La madre tierra está muy agotado, está muy deteriorado. Según lo que decimos, es sobrepoblación. Mucha gente y por eso estamos como estamos ahora.
So Mother Earth is really angry right now. She is, degenerating, and we are mistreating her. And many people, it seems like a huge part of the people are not treating the Earth well and not taking care well of the Earth.
El oro está en el subterráneo. Una función está cumpliendo en ese lugar.
So he's speaking about the gold. The gold is placed underground for a specific reason by the earth.
Olla de barro. Mucha gente dicen que un muerto lo enterraron ahí, en esa olla de barro. No es así. Son ollas de barro que fue puestos apenas estaba creando el mundo para poder tener la fuerza, el equilibrio de la tierra.
So the sacred objects, and he's referencing here the clay pots, for example, Some people say they were there as a burial ground or for burial reasons, which is not true. Some of them were placed in the beginning of time to maintain the equilibrium of all life that is above the ground.
Los materiales sagrados como carbón son objetos que desde un principio fue puesto como el cerebro de la madre tierra.
And some
Es
other materials, such as the coal, for example, that we find in the ground, were placed there in the beginning of time as the brain of Mother Earth.
Por eso mismo, el concepto de los mamos, todo lo que existe dentro de la tierra debe permanecer en su lugar.
So in the understanding of the Mamos of the Kogi people, everything that is underground must stay there.
Al momento de cambiar de lugar, estamos profanando, estamos cambiando de lugar. Entonces ahí donde la madre empieza a debilitar.
So the moment we take anything from the ground, any sort of material or metal or anything, we are weakening the earth because we're messing with the original order.
Así como nosotros cambiamos de lugar objetos sagrados, por eso es que se crea la enfermedad.
That is
Porque
how illness is created. The moment we move sacred objects, illness is created.
nosotros perforamos la tierra, por eso a la madre tierra, nosotros perforamos a la madre tierra, por eso dentro del estómago, del intestino, cada cosa empiezas también perforar en la parte interna de nuestro cuerpo.
So when we start drilling the earth or taking anything out, we are actually harming her body, the body of the earth, like the intestines, the stomach. And the same as we are all connected is happening to our own bodies, and we are not just weakening the earth, we're also weakening us.
El Mamo, él lo ha escuchado y lo ha visto. Lo que pasa es en la sierra, cuántos objetos sagrados lo han sacado y lo han llevado a otros países.
So the Mamo has observed that exact phenomenon, that people came and they were taking the sacred objects from the earth and took them somewhere else to other parts of the earth.
Hay muchos objetos sagrados, son lo que controla, hay muchos que son guardián, hay muchos que son como una cerca para que no pase la enfermedad. Hay muchos objetos sagrados que sirven para protección del ser humano, guardián de los animales. Por eso mismo nosotros en la sierra nunca hemos sacado objetos sagrados desde la tierra.
So we need to understand that the sacred objects, the sacred materials, the metals, the things that are in the ground have their function. They are there to protect us. They are there to give strength, to give energy to life. They are there to prevent illness. They are there to ensure the equilibrium, the balance of the world. So this is the reason why we indigenous people from the Sierra Nevada in Colombia would never ever take anything from the ground.
El Mamo, lo que está diciendo el Mamo, en algún momento, muchos de los humanos vamos a acabarlo entre nosotros mismos. ¿Cómo vamos a acabar? Hay parte del cuerpo de la madre tierra donde está la energía, donde está la fuerza. Si lo tocamos en ese lugar, se acaba el mundo.
So
se va a deteriorar.
So how
Ya la madre tierra no tiene fuerzas.
So relating back to the question, how is the earth and what can we do, or what should we not do rather, is that there is a specific sacred point in the earth that is providing the energy to the whole planet and to all of life. And if we keep taking stuff from underground and we come to touch that specific place, that specific sacred site, the world will end because the vital energy of the earth will be switched off. And that would be our fault as humans.
En la lengua de nosotros, el punto donde está la energías de la madre tierra se llama Shkwakala.
So in our language, there are
Shkwakala,
specific like acupuncture points, maybe you could call them, that are points where the energies of the earth are concentrated, and they're called shkwakala in their language.
ahí donde si nuestros hermanos, ellos piensan que están con avances de tecnologías, ellos piensan que nos ha ganado mucho a los indígenas, pero lo que estás ganando, lo que está aprendiendo mucho es para acabarse el mundo.
So our non-Indigenous brothers believe that the world is about technological advancement, but what is actually happening, it is a way to end the world.
Y no está aprendiendo cómo cuidar la madre tierra. No está aprendiendo cómo valorar, respetar los objetos sagrados. Si no lo sabe, si no aprende, en algún momento va a llegar en Shkwakala, donde está la energía, donde está el punto de energía que puede decaer la tierra.
So if this knowledge is not understood, if this knowledge is not taught of the energetic constitution of the earth, of these, let's say, energetic acupuncture points, and we keep taking stuff from the ground, keep taking the sacred materials, the metals, we will reach at some point unknowingly at one of these shkwakala, at one of these acupuncture points, we will harm it, and then it slides out.
¿Cómo podemos cuidar? Es enseñar. ¿Qué nos toca hacer? Que todos los niños, que todas las humanidades, empecemos a enseñar el concepto, el valor que tiene cada cosa, la que está sobre la tierra.
So relating to the second question, what can we do as humanity? What we need to do is educate the children, educate the people about the sacred sites and about the value that all the things that exist in the world, and he's referring here to especially the things underground, that they have a specific function and that it's not random that they're in this place.
¿Qué nos toca hacer? Nos toca cuidar la laguna, no sobrepoblar a la orilla del río.
So we should take care of the lakes, and for example, we should not build houses at the shores of rivers.
No tumbar el cerro.
We should
No
not
sacar los
excavate.
objetos sagrados dentro de la que está dentro de la tierra. No podemos sacar los objetos que están dentro de la tierra.
We should not excavate in the mountains, for example. We should take no sacred objects from underground.
En los nacederos no podemos poner cemento, no podemos excavar donde están los nacederos del agua.
So we should not build at the small streams, the wells. We should not place any concrete near that at all.
No podemos sembrar los árboles que está en una parte donde está destinado, no podemos coger esas clases de árbol y llevar en otro lugar donde no estuvo, donde no fue establecido por nuestros padres espirituales.
So we should really understand the original order and make sure we don't place plants or trees and plant them just randomly in places where they were not put originally.
Tampoco tenemos que llevar animales que está puesto en un sitio y desplazar en otro lugar donde no perteneces.
And what we should
Porque va
also
a
not do is...
alterar,
Sigue.
porque se puede alterar alterar el equilibrio del ecosistemas, de los animales, se puede perder el orden.
So we should make sure that we don't take animals that do not originate in a specific place and have them somewhere else, raise them somewhere else, because this highly affects the equilibrium, the balance of the original order.
Tampoco podemos mezclar entre los indígenas con los no indígenas. Debemos ser fiel, debemos ser culturalmente, no podemos cruzar.
We should keep our integrity as indigenous people and not have mixed marriages with non-indigenous people or among different indigenous people.
Nosotros los Kogi de la sierra siempre queremos cuidar la madre tierra, queremos cuidar el agua, la tierra, las piedras, las lagunas. Siempre hemos cuidado mucho, respetamos mucho y valoramos.
We indigenous people, the Kogi people from the Sierra Nevada, we always take a great deal of care of the rivers, of the rocks, of all the waters. We value it a lot.
Desde un principio nos enseñaron cómo es la historia de un árbol, cómo tenemos que cuidar el árbol. Por eso mismo está el documento Sanshikalte en la lengua de nosotros. Sanshikalte es el documento que nuestro padre espiritual nos dejó para poder leerlos y poder aplicar a cuidar lo que son los recursos naturales.
So everything in the world, every tree, every animal, every mountain, every lake has an original manual that was left to us by the spiritual fathers and mothers upon creation. And we should remember these manuals of how to take care of everything in the world.
Esa norma, ese documento fue dejado para todo. Donde existe el árbol, siempre ese documento está ahí. Donde existe el agua, ese documento tiene que estar en ese lugar. Entonces, cada uno, cada etnia, nos toca empezar a aprender más a la naturaleza. No podemos separar de las naturalezas.
El documento está en la Suama, ¿no? Ahí está el documento.
Ahí
¿Sí o
está
no?
el documento
Ajá.
y los documentos están donde existe el agua. O sea que
Ujú.
en la tierra de ustedes, en la tierra
Ujú.
de cada uno de nosotros, están ahí también.
Uh-huh. So there are these, let's say, spiritual manuals of how to take care of the different aspects of nature, and they are placed where we have, for example, the water or the rocks or the trees, and they are placed in these specific places, and there are specific sacred sites where we can go, and where on the spiritual level these manuals were left for us.
Existe que se llama Pankatsa. Son los documentos que está escrito en los árboles. Son documentos que está escrito en las piedras. Son documentos, son jeroglíficos. Esos son lo que nosotros debemos aprender a leer.
So in the rocks, in the trees, there is a scripture, let's say a spiritual imprint of knowledge on how to handle a territory. And we need to regain the knowledge, learning again how to read these scriptures, these spiritual imprints that teach us how to take care of the world.
En este momento no es el tiempo de acabarse. Apenas estamos como casi la mitad del tiempo que nuestro Padre Espiritual ha dejado la tierra y todavía el tiempo es mucho todavía. Pero nosotros queremos que el mundo nos acabe rápido.
From the perspective of our spiritual fathers and mothers, we are just halfway of the lifetime of the Earth, the lifetime of humanity. It's not yet to be the end of the world. We're just halfway. But we humans seem to have the wish to make that time that is left for us, that is still designated for us to live on this Earth, to make it as short as we can.
La norma fue dejado iguales para toda la humanidad. Si hubiese sido diferente, nosotros indígenas, no indígenas, otros indígenas de otros países, fuéramos diferentes cada uno. Pero si somos iguales, el ser humano, entonces la norma fue dejado para todo.
So these spiritual instructions of how to take care of the Earth, how to take care of a territory, are universal, and we have all been left a version of that because we humans are equal. We are the same, and if that is the case, our instructions and our role as being guardians and taking care of the Earth is also the same.
Si hay un problema de la tierra, nos toca sentar y hablar y acordar para no estar en guerra, para no estar en diferencias. Solamente tenemos que sentar y hablar cómo vamos a resolver el problema. El problema del agua, el problema de aire, el problema de los árboles. ¿Cómo vamos a cuidar?
So whenever there's an issue with the Earth, we should need to sit together, speak together, and act in accordance. We should not start wars. We should act in accordance and make sure and speak about how do we take care of the Earth? How do we take care of the waters? How do we take care of the air?
Entonces, eso es lo que yo pienso. Yo como Harleka, yo como Mamo, siempre estamos consultando en nuestro Sewa, en nuestro Yatocuan, consultando todos los días cómo podemos alimentar a la madre tierra, al agua, por todos los servicios que nos prestas de la madre naturaleza.
So this is what I think as the Mamo, as the Chaldeka, as the shaman of the Kogi people. And we sit on the sacred rocks in our village every day with our oracle, which in case of the Kogi is a small bowl of water where they drop crystals to see the movement of the bubbles. And our job is every day to ask the question, how do we take care of the elements? How do we take care of the water? How do we make sure we nurture the water back for what the water gives us and how the water takes care of us? And that is my job as a Mamo of the Kogi people.
Eso es lo que yo pienso, dice el Mamo.
That's it.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you for that wisdom. We're going to take a short break, but before we do, I would like to affirm from my tradition what we know about women, and that is that women all over the world used to be considered sacred at one point. We just forgot why that they are considered sacred. Amongst my people, we have what we call the womb at the center of the universe. And it's a place of creation and creativity. And the identical field of energy vibrationally is in every woman's womb. This is why women were considered sacred, and we have forgotten that. Now, the elders a long time ago said that, the world is going to go to a shift to a masculine imbalance. And that since the teachings that we receive are feminine, that those teachings will be desecrated. And so we must find out how to hide these teachings in a way that does not disappear, and for people to find it, and they did. what they did was they asked each part of the world to forget a certain portion of the sacred teachings, but no two cultures were allowed to forget the same kind of teaching, so that it would become a part like a big picture that was cut up with different pieces all over the world. And so our elders have been traveling all over the world for the past 30 years, sharing their way in hopes that the Hupa and sacred teachings will be made whole again. And that's why our elders have been traveling all over the world for the past 30 years, sharing their way. And the women are to take the lead during this time. And so we're going to take a short break, and then I'm going to ask my co-host, Kumu Sabra, to lead it off and to ask the women to speak up. So if it's okay, let's take a short break, 10 minutes, and be back here again to hear what we must hear. Even amongst my people, it's matriarchal, and we live near the sea, which is feminine, and that women initiated our shamans. It was not the other way around. It wasn't men who did that, it was women. And we have a moon calendar. And these are reasons why all of these things, these teachings are very, very important. And when the Mamo says that about sacred sites, the acupuncture points, is very true. They're located around Mother Earth, and they are called sacred sites, so that we understand what that means. And these sacred sites each have a very important purpose. So with that, if there's no objection, we'll take a short break.
The Kogi are saying goodbye. They need to walk up back the mountain to go to their village, because they just walked down for some hours to get internet connection. So they will say goodbye and leave the meeting, and wish you all the best.
Okay, please thank them for us very much.
Dice gracias el Señor y muchas gracias para hablar y para compartir, y sí, ya pueden regresar al pueblo.
El Mamo dice que él también pues está muy contento, y muchas gracias a todos por escucharnos.
Thank you very much for listening.
Okay. We'll see you.
Bye bye.
Aloha Maikako, I am here. I have counted 85 wahine on this call and on the Zoom, and I welcome Anita. Are you still there, Anita? Anita? All right.
Yes,
If Anita,
thank you. I am Sabra, and
All right.
with total respect, of you, it was so beautiful opening, and I know many of these women have so much wisdom. I would like to bow to Iya, being the eldest of the elder women here, and to her wisdom to come forward in the last 8 minutes we have, and those who can stay on can do that. But
all right,
is that
thank you,
okay,
Anita.
Sabra? With great respect to you.
Iya, please speak.
Thank you. I am so honored to, I don't think honored is what I want today, humbled. I'm humbled to be here. To witness this, what my elder called this new dispensation, this new opportunity to birth a new life on this earth. Humbled because when I witnessed the trauma that exists, I'm also grieved at the damage and the ignorance that still remains around me. I was recently invited to do a eco fair with some young people here on the island about a week ago during Earth Day. My heart ached because I witnessed a generation, maybe 2 generations, maybe 3 generations will grow up in this world thinking their water come from a bottle. And not even realizing that water is a life, is a lie. And some of the people that was their teachers, when I asked the question, is water a lie? No. Well, is water in your body? How much water does it take lives in your body? Some say 60, 70, 80. Okay, let's take 70, 80 and let's go. Say it's in our bodies. Now I'm gonna ask you again, is water alive? Still, we don't know. Okay, it's in your body. Is water, are you alive? Oh, water is alive. So the disconnect that we human species on this side of this world, what has happened to us in this dismantling of Mother Earth, should call all of our wounds to ache right now. When I think about the dismantling of my mother's womb, my mother's who was here in this place, the deliberate dismantling of their wombs, similar to what has been done to Mother Earth. Yes, we must hold a different vision. And we women, we can do this because we know what it is to give birth. We know what it is to give birth. We know what it is to sit in the middle of the mother and give birth. So much of what was said was what my great-grandmother parted to me as a little girl, and it came alive. Today, it came alive in my womb. It came alive to hear the Mamos who witnessed, even though spoken in another language, but I felt it in my womb. And sometimes when we get those nudges from the womb, we ignore it. But right now, I feel that Mother is really knocking at the door of us, the womb. Because my tears say, if I'm crying almost every day, Mother must be weeping. We had rain the last 7 days here on the island, and I feel like she is weeping. The thunder is roaring right now as you listen, so she's weeping. So we must continue to do what we are doing right now. And I am so humbled by the number of nations, the number of people that showed up today. Say, yes, it is time. It is time that we sit in that central place and envision and hold this wisdom in our womb space on a daily basis. We the mothers can do this. We the mothers, the grandmothers, the daughters, we can do this. And the men can hold that place for us right now, because we need that prop. We need those sensitive male energies to hold us while we do what we got to do best. My heart is open. Thank you, grandmothers. Thank you, daughters. Thank you, sisters. Thank you, community. Thank you, nations that showed up here today. Ashe. Thank you.
Mahalo, mahalo nui, Ira. Now, if Anita or Selene would like to speak, please.
Thank you. I am honored and humbly
Anita, can
sharing
you turn up your volume, please?
the volume.
Oh, Celine, turn up your volume, please.
Okay, can you listen me? Hola, now? Hello?
Yes.
Can the rest
Hello?
of you hear her? I cannot
Yes.
hear her.
Yes, we can hear her, Auntie Sabra.
Okay, thank you. I am honored and I humbly came here to say something also related very much with our condition of the indigenous nations. We are around the globe sustainably care for around 80% of the world's remaining biodiversity. We indigenous nations have our practices that offer effective climate solutions, such as sustainable agriculture systems and climate resilient water management, but we are ignored. So we have these big problems. There is a full and real participation of indigenous nations, and we are free. We are sustaining that, but not just the biodiversity, because we love the Mother Earth. It's just because we care about the future, because we care about the past, because in our conception, indigenous, the past and the future are in a spiral. The time is non-linear. For us, we have been safeguarding the key ecosystems that act as carbon sinks and protect biodiversity, protect water, protect bodies, protect the ancestors' land, because for us, where our ancestor lives is the most important. We have rights to land, but our resources and our lands are disrespected, especially in this part of the world: Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile. Governments in our countries are reluctant to fully recognize the rights we indigenous nations has over the territory. We need more access to climate finance and capacity building. We know how to do. We know, and we are doing. We are preserving the land for the future generations. We are protecting the water for future generations. We have close connections with land, with water, ecosystems. However, have placed them at increasing vulnerability from the effects of the climate change. So we, indigenous nations, in this part of the world, we are so affected by the climate change. We cannot be more affected. This climate change is destroying our ways of life. The health risk for change in the ecosystems have unique consideration within indigenous nations. It's not the same considerations that other population. We need to keep our mitigation systems, our adaptation systems. Even these adaptations and mitigation systems of the climate change are largely unappreciated. But we have a pathway to get out of this situation. We need to understand how interconnected, how linked are the climate change with the indigenous people's way of living. It is impossible to understand some of the specific nuances of the climate change and health discourse within indigenous community without having a baseline idea of the global realities on the ground and within political arenas we indigenous nations has to fight on. We indigenous nations have been historically framed through as a deficit lens, focusing only in the problematization of our issues. This deficit narrative we need to overcome here in this meeting. Our narrative cannot come from Webster. Our narrative has to come from our own words. Our narrative has to tell that climate change is strongly connected with our ways of living. The indigenous nation, we need a voice. We also need to be consulted. We need to put our voices. We need to speak out in certain scenarios, especially women. We are tired of this lack of understanding. We are tired of being disregarded. We are tired of not being listening. We need someone to listen to us. Here in this webinar, there is 189 people. I want to achieve each of these 189 conscious spirits and tell you that the time of the indigenous people has arrived. When a colonizer do the colonization very well done, they don't need to recolonize it or implement a neo-colonization. The colonized people are self-colonized and acting accord with that. So I will invite you all in this audience to start the process of self-decolonization. So I discovered ways of having a colonized mind. So the time has arrived. And I am so humble and so grateful to be in this meeting and have the opportunity to speak out. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Selene. May I hear from Vav or Catherine, please? Vav or Catherine, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Fel Shah Hula Dunya, Termoch Shanar Shanavar. So I say welcome everyone, and especially the revered grandmothers and grandfathers, and thank you for all that I've heard so far. And I echo the sentiments that everybody has shared in this gathering. For us, I think the world is definitely going through her labor, her change. Here in England, we in the gardens, but lost it. Hello, I think I'm back. Without the bees pollinating our foodstuffs, food will become scarce for everyone. And I think those of us who live in communities and societies where we tend to get our food from supermarkets, we don't live close enough to the earth to hear what she's telling us. We're not listening close enough to see that the world is changing drastically and we need to change with it, and we need to respect our Mother Earth more clearly. If you only buy your food and it comes wrapped in plastic, you don't see what is happening on the immediate changes to the world, and we need to change that. And for all of us now, I think we need to resonate our own light, our light from within, our love for Mother Earth, our love for all our relatives. That's the insects, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the plants, the trees, the rocks, the waters, especially the waters, and to respect it and to give it all the love and to give back what we are given. So I will keep this brief because I know there's others who wish to talk. And I thank everyone for what we've shared tonight. And I hope, as Selene has suggested, we all take away from this meeting something that gives us the hope and the will to do our own little bit to change. Because if each of us does one little bit to make this a better world and to share love and to share with our communities, it will be a better world for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. May we hear from Catherine, please, if you're still here.
Kia ora. Thank you, everybody. I earlier pulled a couple of cards about the themes we were talking about today. And the first one is healing. What I saw that is interesting to me, and it's been raised by others, this to me looks like a ball of light, and it's moving through time, space. It's like it's going on a journey. You can see all of the energy waves that's in its wake, almost like water. And we've talked a lot about water. And what I've found is in recent weeks and months, I've felt the chaos just all around me as I've been going through my own very reflective times about the chaos that's going on in the world. It's, you know, going on inside of me as it's going on in the world outside. You know, it's kind of like that mirror. So it makes me think, for me to help, and like Vav just said, do my part, is to find the peace inside of me. You can see these two aspects. There's this conflict, something going on in me that I need to resolve. It's a very taking radical responsibility, starting with myself. And in that way, it should have an impact out in the greater world with all the chaos that's happening. If I can find peace in myself, I'll be doing my part to help create peace in the world. And the second card I drew was this one, denial. So it caused me to think, what am I denying about my essential nature, about myself, that if I embraced it, it would help with my own healing? That's what came up for me this morning. And largely, it's about that divine power that has been spoken about today. We often acknowledge it intellectually, maybe, or we speak about it, but really deeply, deeply accepting that we have great power because we were, you know, born of divine creation, divine creative energy, and we carry that with us. So to remember that and have faith in that, sometimes I feel like that's all we have when I look at the world and what's going on. The illusion of it is, it's quite scary. But if I can, you know, remember and not see how it's really grasping, this bird is really grasping onto things that are not true. So I have to let go. I have to let go of a lot of beliefs that aren't serving me. And when I do, I think there'll be a lot of healing that will come from that. I've also found, just my last point, I have noticed that I am attracted and interested in things I wasn't before. I'm involved less in things I used to be, and I'm involving myself in things, you know, that are different, like more of the metaphysical work instead of the heavy physical environmental defense, the heavy physical social justice campaigns, protests, and that sort of thing, but I'm moving more into a reflective space, into focusing on metaphysical things. One example of that is the inner development goals. If anyone has heard of the inner development goals, there's a whole movement around the world. And of course, our wombs of peace space and these spaces, they're becoming just more real to me than before. I find that very interesting. So I'm very grateful for these spaces, and all power to us as we're moving through our own personal journey to play our part to bring healing to the world. Kia ora. Thank you.
Mahalo, Catherine. Lynette, would you care to speak? Lynette, would you care to speak? All right, let us go to Deborah, please.
Sorry, I was muted.
Deborah, would you care to speak? You have to unmute yourself.
I didn't know I would be called upon to speak, but I am so grateful for these kind and wise words from these women here. And I honor the earth that I have in my space behind me and the wisdom that I feel from the rocks and from the water, from the mountains, from the birds, from the trees, from the rivers. And I'm so grateful for all of you and for this vision for a transformed world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mary, would you care to speak? Mary.
Don't forget Lynette.
Were you calling me, Sabra?
Mary, yes, are you there? Please, your thoughts,
I am.
please.
Right. This has been a very moving evening. I've been working with Vav for a long time now and recognizing it is down to each and every one of us to make adjustments, to make changes, to understand where we're at and recognize the world cannot continue as it is without taking serious steps to adjust our own behavior, not telling other people what to do, but leading by example, putting away the things that are not necessary for us. And it was wonderful to hear so many people from so many parts of the world today. And no, we aren't alone. We are not alone. We just have to keep working at this, and it will be seen. And hopefully heard by those who need to listen. We mustn't give up trying to make them hear. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Lynette, can you hear us? Can you speak, please?
I can hear you. Thank you so much for asking me to contribute. I'm so grateful to be amongst you all tonight. It has been a wonderful gathering and so many beautiful and powerful energies and positive impressions, and the most wonderful thing that so many different energies have come together in such a harmonious and beautiful way. Just thank you. I'm very grateful to be part of it.
Thank you very much. Pualilia, will you speak, please?
Aloha. I too am extremely grateful to be amongst this group. I think Aya pulled the most emotion out of me. I could not stop crying as my internal waters were flowing down my cheeks, listening to Grandmother Aya's words and the importance of the waters in us and around us, and the acknowledgement how my generation and the younger ones have a disconnect with where our waters come from. Thank you. May we all remember and continue to call in harmony and gratitude and compassion and healing. Ahuiho.
Mahalo nui, Pualilia. Katerina, would you speak, please? Katerina.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, please speak.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very much alone in my earth worship and my sun worship, and I'm really longing to connect, and I really need like your gathering and we all have indigenous hearts. We're all indigenous. I lost my home 2,000 years ago. We need to come together, and I really need your indigenous elders' wisdom to give me a hand, to give me a network where, you know, I live in Norway, I come from Greece, I've lived everywhere, rootless and free. And I am in Norway, and the Sami people, the Norwegian indigenous people, are like everywhere segregated. How can I help them? How can I'm not finding any resonance and any connection. My home in Greece, my island is being taken over by industry, so-called green transition, but it's doing more damage than anything so far. So what I'm asking for is an international network that is open to people who we can meet and join and help each other. Thank you so much. I'm really touched. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Joy, would you care to speak? Joy.
Thank you for inviting me. This has been a beautiful gathering. Today is Bereaved Mother's Day. So the sharing of the tears of our inner and outer waters and in this conversation and prayer is profound. And it didn't dawn on me that the earth is grieving. And in this talk, I'm a grieving mother. I've lost my young child over 2 decades ago, and it's become my life's work. And my mother died 2 years ago on Mother's Day, which has really impacted me deeply, as she is the one who gave me life. And I've been reading a book about the secret life of Mother Mary. And interestingly, it's all about, or mostly about, womb healing. And so to be hearing this, and to be hearing the sisters and the grandmothers speaking this wisdom, is feeding me in a way that I wasn't even expecting today. I am so deeply touched and so deeply moved by these teachings, and I know the truth of it resonates with me, and even the sacred code in the trees and in the springs and in the mountains and in the rocks and the plants and the butterflies and when the birds are singing in the morning, it's all got that code. And it's praying and speaking and singing to us to wake up and listen. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom today and inviting me. I'm very interested in your Wombs of Peace group.
Thank you very much. Margaret, would you care to speak?
Hello, everybody. I am just very happy to be here. There's a lot to think about here and incorporate into my life. The teaching that really struck me is the womb. Being in the womb, that's where it's going to start. The new visions are going to start. So thank you so much.
Mahalo. I don't know how much more time we have, but Yael, Kelly, Prajna, would you care to speak?
Also, there's Suella. We haven't heard from Suella. Sabra?
Okay, I couldn't hear you. What was that? Who was speaking?
It's Vav Sabra. Suella from Australia. She was on earlier. I don't know if she's still on.
She's not on anymore.
All right, I don't see anyone featured in the speakers room. We've heard from Tahirah. Catherine, we heard from you, yes? All right, good, thank you. I'm sure we're running out of time. Are there any other? Chris, would you care to speak? Chris Evans.
I just want to say that I'm so honored. This is my first time here, and I'm so honored to be here, and so excited to hear that there's vibration that is being risen and connected all around the world, and so very happy to join and to be a part of the wisdom that you all are generating. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Callie.
Aloha. Yes, this is just, my body is vibrating with such gratitude and resonance of all the truth that's been shared, all the love. And I just wanted to share something. I'm so honored and blessed to live here on the beautiful island of Kauai, where I feel the Aina, the land. She is the mother pulsing through our bodies all the time. And what I'm realizing is, like a child, when I give my love to her, that is the act of climate change, the act of giving the resonance, giving the vibration consciously of gratitude, of appreciation, of singing along with the birds, of thinking thoughts that are beautiful. We change the climate by our perception and by our frequency of our intentions and our actions and our prayers. And I just invite everybody, and if you have grandchildren, children that you're with, remind them that when we say thank you to the birds, thank you to the flowers, thank you to each other, that's what lifts the vibration. That's what creates the unity. And that it's a very palpable, instant change that is a great celebration. Just like the saying, Angwan, hello, my other self, it applies to all of creation. And I'm just really enjoying the play of dancing with the elements every day and seeing the instant response. And so I just want to plant that seed of reminder that climate change, it's not only how we change our thoughts about how we live, but literally how we engage and make the change through our ceremonies of engagement and appreciation and gratitude. And it's wonderful because we can teach this to everybody. And I'm more inspired than ever to keep inviting in someone that seems lost in their own thoughts. Like, hey, did you notice that bug? Hey, have you seen any cool flowers today? You know, really ask each other, how are they engaging with nature? How are they engaging with the world? And that every heart already knows that connection and that love, just like a child loving their mother. So thank you for this time to share, and just blessings to everybody for being here today and for perpetuating this vision of wisdom weavers and GSIL, that we are weaving one human family with our stories and with our prayers and our presence. So mahalo.
Mahalo to you, Kelly. Mahalo to you for all the good work you do. There's one more participant from Kauai, and that is Prajna. Prajna, if you're still with us, would you care to speak, please? Ah, Prajna may have signed off. So, Yael, are you there? Would you care to speak? All right, I don't see either one of them. So I'm going to turn this back
I'm
to...
here.
Oh, there you are. Very good. Please give us your thoughts.
Thank you, everyone. We know that every encounter is a co-creation, and this has been a tremendously beautiful one with everyone here in the circle and with the ones that were invited, like Basil Braveheart's grandmothers, that was very present, I feel. And so I sometimes have these chant coming to me. I would like to maybe end with a little one that I'd like to offer here, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Here we go. Can you speak the language? Can you speak the land? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you stand where I stand? When you touch the ocean, can you hear the sand? Can you be a mountain, a tree branch, a lake? Do you know real snow from artificial fake? Can you be an earthquake? Can you shake? Dare you break? Dare you cry? Receive, give. Dare you die? Dare you live? You cannot stop the ocean, so dance with the motions, 'cause all you can change is your current. From competing to completing, from fight to delight, from a tomb to a womb. Don't try to resist, just agree to exist. Don't refuse, don't accuse, simply use your very same powers to heal. Don't question if they're real, allow yourself to feel those that are beyond. Come, drop your tears, shed your fears, let your years come and become yourself, your love. Shalom, my other self, I'm one. Thank you.
Ooh, I like that. And I'm hearing a tune to it, yeah. Please send me the words. All right. All right. Very good. Thank you, all of you. I'm going to turn this back to Ilarion. Ilarion, I think we're finished sharing our thoughts. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Kumu Sabra, for co-hosting this gathering. I will say the last few words and then ask my brother to close it. So women must remember their power, their original power that has been given, that you all carry with you. And some of you may have forgotten what that power is. Remember that all women were considered sacred at one point in time. When women get together in sisterhood and work at healing themselves, then they can, in sisterhood, take the energy, the vibrational energy in their wombs and place it on the outside. And it will create a container for something new to be birthed. Until this happens, nothing new in the world. I don't care if it's state-of-the-art thinking or state-of-the-art technology. It's not going to be the answer. It's going to be something new that is created. And this is one of the reasons why during this time that women are being called together to do this, get together in sisterhood. And the men's work is to protect the sacred space of women so that they can do their work. And this is just as equally important. I talked with Don Alejandro at one point in time when he was done visiting this world. before he was done visiting this world. He's the keeper, he was the keeper of the day calendar for the Mayan people. And we spent a week together. And at the end of it, he said, the people who will negotiate this time the best are going to be people of the fire, which means people of the heart. And that what we must do is let go of everything that is keeping us in this illusion, including all of our traumas, so that we can get to our hearts. And in our hearts, it has what we want. It has love, peace, patience, tolerance, all these things that we are looking for as human beings is in the heart. And now we are in the mind, and the mind is telling the heart what to do. And it is the cause of all the things that we are suffering today as human beings. Now, Mother Earth, she has survived for billions of years. She's going to survive for billions more. We're not going to save her. But what we need to do, what she's calling us to do, is to remember who we are as real human beings. And that when we can only remember who we are by going back to the heart. Traditionally, the heart used to tell the mind what to do. Now the mind tells the heart what to do. It's logical and rational. I call the heart the transrational and the womb. And so we need to be present in the moment and in the heart, and setting our intention not to fight anything. The elders say, if we choose to fight something that we want to stop, remember that we are mental, physical, and spiritual energies. And we are taking this energy and unconsciously putting it into that which we want to stop. And what it does is expand that which we want to stop over time. You don't see it right away, but it happens. It's guaranteed. They said, instead, what we must do is focus on that which we want to see without reaction to anything. And that we need everyone. Now, there is no singular guru. We are all gurus now. And all we have to do is get to our hearts to find the answers as to what we must do during this time. And the women will take the lead. It's to create this container for something new to be birthed. Until this happens, nothing new is going to be birthed on Mother Earth. And so with that, I just as a reminder that we need the women now and the men to protect the sacred space of women so they can do their work. So now I'll call upon Ed Sparks, my brother, Lakota brother, to close this session. Ed, are you there?
Aho, mia yellow, chanumpa wakan. Hokshila hankayapi. Hanka oglala lakota, tiwahimach, pialuta. Ikchewchasha. So there's not much I can expound upon, but first of all, I'd like to salute or give a mention there to my chie, my older brother there, Basil Braveheart. There's no way that there's anything that can be expounded upon other than what my older brother there had said and what the Mamo had said. These are the natural order, the natural truth. And then to what we must do is to preserve what they're saying, because if things are going to get worse, we need to make sure that that's there, and that will be carried forward as always amongst us in the Lakota way as well. Of these things, as Basil mentioned, it was carried forward with his grandma and Grandma Bad Warrior, same thing, for Chief Looking Horse. And so we need to strengthen our women. And I saw some broken, hurting, and we need to do better as men. And so in the Lakota way, I want to defer to my Likshi, Basil Braveheart. I thought you were still there, Kola. It was your brother, Bill, who came here in Alaska in the 90s that set many of us here in Alaska back on the road, the Sacred Red Road. And so I defer to you, my brother, my uncle, to say the closing prayer for these people and for all of us. So I ask if you would do that for me, Likshi.
You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, Basil, you have to unmute yourself so we can hear you, please. You're almost there, not quite.
Laura, can you click the S to unmute, please?
You hear?
There we go.
Okay.
There we go, Basil. Thank you.
Can you hear? Yes, you can hear me now. Okay. I wanna add to what I said earlier, that one of the equations I forgot to tell you or explain is the divine created everything with unconditional love. So what that really means is when you see a flower or a horse or a buffalo or a bird, think of it as a mirror, something that is reflecting back to you. And so every time you do that, your divine energy, which is called megahertz, that is in your physiological body, in the blood and the muscle and everything, will become elevated. And then when you get it with a dog, when a dog wags his tail, that's another 500. When a cat purrs, that's another 500. Once you get into those equations about how you need to live and they be one, means everything comes to being one. So I want to thank you for allowing me to say these words. I'm going to sing one push-up of a song and a prayer, and it asks us to recognize this pipe. And the pipe is us. We are the pipe. But we also have a pipe that a woman brought us. The white cow buffalo woman brought the sacred pipe and put on that wood that goes into the sacred rock. And that in that wood, there's a hole that goes there. That's the soul of man. And when the soul of man is put together with that pipe, you become one. Just like when they do it in mass, that this electromagnetic field connects up. So I just want to sing that one song, and I will thank you very much for allowing me to say this prayer. Tukashila ahituayo chanu pakile ekiayo hae hae mitakuye o waniktacha le chamuelo hae. Hey-ya, hey-ya, mitakuye.
Basil. Okay, we're going to close, and this was a beautiful closure, and nothing more needs to be said, except all of you give us feedback on what you think we ought to do. with regard to having something like this again, or with what we should do with regard to Mother Earth. Okay, thank you very much, and all be well.
Thank you all. Aloha.
Yoksha.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you, Basil.
Namaste.
Again, aloha. Aloha. Blessings.
Aloha and blessings to
Thank
each and every
you.
one of you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Namaste.
Malama pono.
Emily.